must be recognized as the greatest crime against humanity. As the African champion on reparations, Ghana intends to introduce a motion in this August body to that effect. More than 12.5 million Africans were forcibly taken against their will and transported to create wealth for the powerful Western nations.
Ebi Asam George or call Bekache president. FB a DSTV Asamno. I'm a president. I could say be a DSTV for 84. But that's a media personality, no dear. Who offers hand information. You can go there and open the president's eye about that issue. Say, Adiana Muya no man sha. A bed driver because if it's a price control system here. We economics we invest in any price control system, a demand and supply.
Sure.
Any idea free economy near the edge. It's a free market economy near the edge, man. Say DSTV or the only can on subscriber.
And okay.
You always can acquire. What is your how to say? The only can know free so. It's when the idea of Bayama say Nipa Omo go, Shanipo Mafa because I've worked there before. I was on Aquaba Magic. So I was, you
remember sometime I told you, sir, I had opportunity of watching you on
many Dr. Likey. Oh, yes.
Yes.
Go and see the multi-choice house. What are you talking about? At the end of the day, no, so
nothing.
You can do nothing.
So, giving the opportunity to ask the president a question based on what you are saying,
they should tread cautiously because at the end, a demand and supply. At the end, no, Ghana population in Nigerian population, so will be away economics. When say population, it matters. Prices are different. A deal in America for a producing Yama China. Because say who can produce a deal with China, a deal about a full way now who produce to America. That's a 1 hour, ube to $20. China the whole day ube to $1. Obviously, entrepreneur be up advantage. It's rather no whatever call China, no one produce if you say labor a cheap. Because factors of production, what shall the cost and what you calculate it is a product to be for China bar. The same product here in Ghana ain't really at the same price. Because raw materials are a year for be used to know. China for be used to their produce or many bebre. They have the advantage. Economy of scale. But I have no wouldn't mean Yanasa. It wouldn't mean confirm Nigeria for the non farm compare a be a Ghana because the population Nipa best subscribe.
And there are different factors.
Sanity here. It is a ubi bikwana banamo kanye uba bontina we press conference. Now we can we in fata. Now I said you want to prove something. I said who person would say who you'll be.
So you have with that particular issue, no Krano. Diplomacy should have
you go to the maintenance subscription na mojeno and profunti edini betimi aye okay monfa eniema mujina so modi mo pricing system no monfa eniema mo hye na me who if there is any way say impose taxes are ye to so no and we the government because we have to take some taxes off diplomacy. But enye akakabensem je be ye press conference be kire say who you obi who person will prove to who. At the end of the day, you are destroying the business. Who more the wrong tack? Go and see more to choice. Ghana for Mugo Omoyejuma. Sika Omutu Mokamuba Ban with me. Sika Omutu, and I have worked for them before. And when you are DSS over Sumna, there be a Minister of Communication or mine idea here when it comes to communication. Even DSTV for subscription price and answer rate and answer cost. And only a priority. Idea private to do no better in a coffee. The onu bet team in a kofa. The own team in a one fa. A demand and supply. Price and the own team weapon. It way idea say a whole government machinery. A young priority. Ultimate say a general a young press conference. You chum who sent now we can now where the press release now where a whole minute just a move for this one a private organization. Yes, say. I wasn't surprised. Ghana's ambassador to South Africa, Casa Albino, because he is my private sector and he is expanding. Now yet you quit anymore, and you see now you find a dear buy you quite fast so I can.
So he feels his posturing was even.
That is bad. And it's a press conference. Then Casa will boss to Jenny. I don't know. And what and for young baby. And at the same issue when it comes to when it comes to radio. stations na ye tutututum na ye assemble ye say bi mu illegalities ni ade no mejitum say SSA radio station bia we have to do better SSA obia wo say wodi mraso say wo hwe say niam bi da ba bi da but prof say be a radio station bi because yes you a radio station
sure
na e bi a memfa ne say ade na obusu no enye ade bi a ebe costo ade bi a che say ehu buso na yenhwe nipa ya employ omo organization ho eno ne se ona no ne distance krache ye Ghana ne ye pese promote na mo koso na mo fa nipa adwuma se nipa tenkwa ne ya fa mo ha eti ebia mo frequency no e ko obi diem enti machine na mo hia se mo ko ye wo machine ayeto ma obi diem ko obi diem ena mo ntimi afford a we can even assist you. No ma yena ama bibia de yi. Because niema no omugina so say radio station we busu ntia kwakotom no. Prof ye de bi kire wa.
No, but Akosia me I don't the problem I have with them is that most of our radio stations in Ghana here are politicized, are owned by politicians. And of course, yes, sir, NDC and when they come, they try to look at radio stations belonging to the New Patriotic Party. Owners.
Said be ombegunu. And
the reverse is also true.
Prof, how long, Prof? How long any bayani sa? Prof say NDC impo, na say MPP radio station, na say NDC radio station, MPP radio station, whoever our beba power no. They Ghana for. They are still Ghanaians.
All right, Akosia.
And I still now, Prof, or my employee nipa.
No great.
Or my funny page.
Sure.
Because who are buying on ultimate funny page.
Sure.
It's in a way. Anti Prof, a radio station, a MPP radio station, a NDC radio station, you want come goda.
There be.
Woman ya Ghana for, to woman for come and goda. And you be a bit miaka, and then you see a person you busu private sector. And then you see a person a peja woman. It's a dentina young look beyond sa politics no. Near was no at the end of the day no. A Juman is say Gina. No more funny pabia jumanti near my baby crown or machia. Yantinets near moi. If the sign excuse and getting yet the atum near money pabia 20 women kukufi. Na come to be a radio say at the end of the day the prof year 2 mono abana taxes ben when you free. Sika ben when you free. Wo wunya she almost ni panso kwa kugufie it cost 90 job. It when me prove what I will say me wo power no. At the end of the day when I suffer.
I go go enche beja kwan but
Kopamano ultimate mobi another Jason Kante some Atena address a panchano one some Akakopra I around some Adama Chelsea Bobo Kona Yatu some Pima Telfona and some our tomato sonel kaka and some Ababacas and letters Yati Emma Telfo tomato so Mipachaman copium our Osman Dembele and Tana Palanto Tomato Bueno and some activity Edison so not Dembele no Abakai sir no order Barcelona for Nase sir Bossa, Bukai Tamano Dortmund. Bossa the under million euros and a buyer ever for about Barcelona and for Anamono Bono and some Etimico Aya Paris and Soma, Alcosia Kadama PH. Report on the second is Osman Dembele. I say you're fun to just what the Iniesta and Obiase, Sir Balantono, what some Etima TV Amanoma and some Etima Cosanario, Yadi later sending you well updated, and some Etima for our Tomatoes and Pacho, Lamin Sama, Senamia Duma next year. Balantono abaje ajesini na so until ameno was say on come biaches wobon pese premier nyame ebe yefi na kwam wo dine se balanto jumade no wono so abaje mu amutie aye 94.1 FM we set the pace.
Yeah, so
Bete, seniwa de dende, seniwa. Bete, seniwa de dende, seniwa. Mami forever, seniwa de dende, seniwa. Papa forever, seniwa de dende, seniwa. Fufuna benkwan, seniwa de dende, Seniwa de dende, seniwa. Seniwa de dende, seniwa de dende, seniwa de dende, seniwa. Seniwa de dende, seniwa de dende, seniwa, seniwa.
Yo, Abusia for your mo. It's been a while. Yachio Bibia or Shemi Hayam Koto 101. Ewo YouTube ne so Facebook ayam Koto. Yenim say ye di beba bishim edi amamo. Into aba aha die onim say aha ye kura last stop ye di ato kwan ni mo ofa so a ebeto. Aya kwose echi ho ne ye monitor the ekoso. Enti no opeo yaba. Whether you engage yourself or you don't engage yourself, you know, we have come. Obi na kan yaba nso de yaba. Pete seniwa dedendi seniwa. Na emi ya say sa kids folklore we meme rendition no e was metimi ne wiala noella wiala ekokoye sa combination no e was wiala feature me na me de me verse no vulture seniwa dedende seniwa vulture seniwa dedende seniwa mother is calling you seniwa dedende seniwa madam is calling you seniwa dedende seniwa esi come do what seniwa dedende seniwa esi come chop seniwa dedende seniwa eben what food seniwa dedende seniwa fufu and pamno soup seniwa dedende seniwa seniwa dedende seniwa dedende seniwa dedende seniwa yenka jadin soup seniwa dedende seniwa dedende seniwa dedende seniwa minianum abra ya woya eye banche anya bodie yon by the far side ye niati hase no mopa ye de bebre e de bebre mo folklore ye will be achocho bi ye be keka bom. All the days are not equal, ye beji wudina ye sansan kroma nini ewu ocheche kukoma ise inu go job nini ewu ocheche kukoba nini ewu nejewu o sansan kroma nini ewu ocheche kukoma osionke ye juma nini ewu ocheche kukoma. So what feeling rendition no? That's a powerful one. Yes. Yemvan to echi book no o konfanti memo a ya to echi say eya fa bi esere. Eya eto na ete njema okodo ewo Ghana mamu ho a na afa konja na atna na akade fa bi esere. Whether what Tim Infant no want Tiasi and my kangu yanko yen. Yado biase some obahasi, aha, a yanko to 101. Obaha now pair no like it, open swan no share, opea no contribute. Na ope say, a kufuado you busan questions and so a quarter, or quino in see no, I think now no the contribution no 20 something thousand. Yes, we going gradually, but they can say between 2-3 months no. Say na say it's becoming a daunting task. When we see a time we will come here and discuss and then we give money to charity. Because me say if we want to decide on our future, the direction, okay, we are not here to save any kind of political party. In as much as we are not going to serve any political party, but we will speak the truth, we will speak truth to authority, and then we will tell our mind and we will vent our spleen. Irrespective of ninina no, yen tena honso so emma obi emfa asem metumi so emfa asem nto so emfa asem nto oman panyimu bia so nipa bia so ye hwan so ye hwan esan se ye yamfa atro anto bia so ye ni akohwesem amfa bu obia so se wo pese going forward no the youth of Ghana entie wasem a kanokure no whether so mo beje no kure na to mo so mo nje ntomo it should be their headache. But don't massage, don't play around euphemisms to think that a harsh may call directly a bit offend you. No, truth doesn't offend. And no cre dini pabone adie dini pabone ayatro. The truth can never offend or hurt you. Yes, no cre can ya, no cre can enye ya. Atrucha ne ya, atrucha ene ding. Isan say you live the rest of your life to defend atro. But so can okrea, what can we? And you don't have time to even defend on okrea. What you say? Yes. Thank you so much for making us number one. Thank you so much. Yes, Christina Edase. Na Dodua, long time no see, and Agbeko, Yao, Daniels. Yacho Bibia Wabaha say, a lot of you guys now, collectors and so why be o, Monfa Mudinim Ray, and young men sing kakra. Linda, Ofosu and so say, Linda, Gracias, Sewa Bahase, Edo Bibia say. Na most of the Neko Somatise Sam George as same bini ade. You see, enona akosia go ba ehwan a year, you know. One thing, one information I made be Sam George, any abamu nipa, any John Mahama, and say, Ghana for no, essay, don't meddle in the activities. Me mamon fam home fra, omo how ni mo. Being a foot one, made be my John Mahama, and then call for the say, ya campaign the maba power we. The loud silence media aboamo de maba power we. Into waba power na we no. What ya say? Ya boa wa mo aba power we no. Se wo pese wo de ahomeje ma Ghana ni no. Na se Ghana ni se ompe a Mr. John Mahama yesra wo no we jai Ghana ni no abre. Let's go the way a general anase chairman e say edunketia kan and say petrol petrol anase diesel fuel 20 cedis or 19 cities or 18 cities. Na obia bete so aba form na or se or ya adjustment kakra for 1 city 2 na eto so na se also be complainia. E se dun ketia se any kwan so ne nkofo we kodi achi. Eno an se na odi akoto baby a na omoto na obeto no no. Na wa odi akoto ho dia ma omo because em say o sisa position no ama omo ho ato wo omo mpe. So Sam George, it shouldn't be your headache. Adkosia go bana hene ai asantini adehye o se bunu ni o se wan hoyo akani ba o se eye wo na ho ato na so be kwa akoto DSTV entimemma aban ne mfa ne ho enjim entu ko market na obi ton na ade bi na odibu afaso a eye wo na ho ato e na so be ko store wi akoto wa ade entu ya aban a no we jai omo ne nkofo no ye bu o mafaso we asem tintin ni ho intimisremo. Those of you are abeye bone of contention any day minia na hu se obi kan asem ye wetire na ye daso gina ho ye nye ya adwen se yetu ye nan e de aba anim ho enti no minia wa ha se no so waba ye chia osonko so se waba be chiam woni ye di nhia e wo ha se eni Sam George asem na akosu agoba ahwan akosu ago aboaje aka kire no omunim nyansa sin obia ntino amamu sesa omutimi kire o mo adwen enti se wo ye wadwen so obeboa nipa na nipa so o ma omboa na it's up to you now. Also Sam George metufu say enoma bi o ho sensationalism no e wo so reduce isan say enkofo na onu o mo ye adwuma no they are only waiting for or downfall because a whole former member of parliament e wo subin etimi atena TV so aka kire interviewer say ono ne mpa ba obon say John Mahama ne NDC be feli so that NPP benya kwanya na omo aba e wo so hu the mindset of nkofo no enti Sam George we enye sign enfama kasa bebre no monte so me mensa anase obi asika nse mi botom enti I speak my mind ena wodu sika be se mi botom a meji sika ne medi but eno no empepa asem na meka akire wo no eno no se ugimi bi se ba bi a meyi di ama wo eno de mo fa nse mutirim oh yes yem fa no nto ho Galamsey I headache the modern day the opium war of Ghana. If some of you have not come into contact with this particular history, go and read the history, the first opium war and the second opium war. You will come to terms with me. Okay? The Galamsey fight, you know, it is a whole empire. Now, and Kofobi betna TV so obi di say miracle saboaje information bi aye gather allegedly time an oye MC Ekufuado time na Ekufuado yi na di as MC, you know, or the abrante bi called China. You see, they come no ma beye mami mba onwa nanu ma se mo se Galamsey fight no se ne kono ye kona anase efo a ankomo kon yiti no.
Because again, to be solve Galamsey no easily. And ka opposition for ne. Omodo manu tutu command solve. Why didn't they solve it in 2011? In fact, why did they even allow it to start in the first place in 2011? Because it started under them. This kind of Galamsey that we are seeing started under the opposition NDC. 2011 all the way to 2015, 2016, they could not solve it. Almost solution in here. And yet, we are leaving them, we are allowing them to go scot-free, which is right. Because there's a government in place. But the government is simply saying that, please, we cannot do this alone. Law enforcement is not enough. And yeah, law enforcement now, yeah, social reorientation. Now, how are you expecting the government to win in this battle? Because again, to be solve Galamsey no easily. And ka opposition for ne. Omodo manu tutu command solve. Why didn't they solve it in 2011? In fact, why did they even allow it to start in the first place in 2011? Because it started under them. This kind of Galamsey that we are seeing started under the opposition NDC. 2011 all the way to 2015, 2016, they could not solve it. Almost solution in here. And yet, we are leaving them, we are allowing them to go scot-free, which is right. Because there's a government in place. But the government is simply saying that, please, we cannot do this alone. Law enforcement is not enough. And yeah, law enforcement now, yeah, social reorientation. Now, how are you expecting the government to win in this battle?
So, sakwa we on. He, people enkoforo mo be dina TV ni so a. Omo parody omo ho te se di omo ni idea. He, o te se ohini bi ka se na ye di ni bibia kosofa Galamsey ni ho a. They are the ones doing it. And then mi ba be busa. Miracles aboaje say onim abrante bi a ye frɛ no Jerry Bequin. Jerry Atabequin. Or then they call China Peking University. Peking University. E dey be aduma na one abrante no eye no dunkwa onofe ene I am for it. Nibusa miracles aboaje ala mu fi say, we have information e wa amanfo ho. And sometimes ya ni atedin oye wa adwen say obe ha adwen a ye be hwehwa na hu say okay. Don't forget, say, ade na amo ye na amo yi mani di ase amanfo no. Sankofo no soso no, omo onuanom. Sankofo no so abusuafo. Tama, you see? He. So sankofo we mi nu. aha yebeka omo ho asem dache miracles aboaje mibusa se oni na damfo no ede ba adwuma we eye a tip of the iceberg ede ba adwuma na miracles aboaje ene sa brantie wi ewo ayamfore ewo dunkwa onofe ni emusa se ayamfore ene dunkwa onofe ye galamse wo ana ye nya galamse wo. Don't forget, my catch them say, Opian Timi sorry so okwe galamsey. Majority of omya galamsey no, they have licenses. Now license no, omudi kan koje e cover up so that ometinye di diako bebia any price omudidiko. Esan say, in the first place no, se unni documenta untimi nko bia sa so. Obi o ha te said the akontama na ye no okode prospecting license okode prospecting or reconnaissance license now betu ani na no dey prospecting no di wia gold no fi asase na se ene man ye illegal no. It doesn't mean say obi afa pickers bi anas excavator champagne no dey call all of those guys now who almost say omo ho no they have some sort of certificate bi, but sa certificate no omo overstep omo boundaries. E de said here who si dan na aban asase meters ayesi dan no na wasi akom, although we are building permit, but you don't have the permit to build into that government yard nimo. And on a strategy and kofonisu and almost several a cabal group like the opium, how Akwabi Lin Zeksu, because of certain or person of fighting the opium, we na na ekoso China no. Emperor sacrifice no. Or no person of boami a fighting problem no. Emperor sacrificing it say because of this decision the East Indian Company and UK no almost koto she almost esse almost empire, a great empire. I find the century of humiliation. A tree and na omobete die Lin Zeksu a year say or didn't nancy was say no matter what and painful ahodo nyina omo ba in the fight of opium no. Omuba no ma bediska ba me Lin Zeksu die me niska se me niska nti no se ye man ne be se ya ensen omuma papa no retire ekope be bi tnaye okoshe fiase because ono a decision meanwhile emperor no ne catch and say onkochi akronfo, and this is what Mahama is going to face. Mahama, until you get people like Lin Zeksu by your side, you will lose the Galamsey fight. Because enkwofo no a omo ye sa Galamsey fight no. Omo ye like enkwofo a the emperor during the King dynasty no, or suma say yenko fight the opium. Illegalities are near cost for China. The British knew who quiet was say omo faso just to use the opium to crush the working class of the Chinese people no. And let me tell you, do you know why now a lot of the youth are feeling so reluctant into going into agriculture now? Because Galamsey has offered them a bigger option. It is sometimes on Mr. Mahama. So me say, Musibu person who create alternative livelihood. Edema Galamsey yes no. So that Ombeja Galamsey na, I must state it unequivocally on this platform that to me, there's no alternative livelihood a bit to me I replace the kind of life at Galamsey, they are those who are neck deep in Galamsey. The kind of get rich quick attitude now, a rank of fomuno, offer the excavator within 2 months. No, ye bam. After na memfa body nkoshe from 8 months, 6 months, banchi. Memfa tomato nkoshe from 3 months. And so that will be an alternative livelihood for Obiawai exposed to galamsey money. It's either you crush it and suffer today, or you allow them to do it. But to use non-traditional agriculture to replace the activity of galamsey, will lose in advance. And for a creative great empires, and try say, fighting no fear, they will fight you back vehemently. I am saying it. Mopa muntie, mopa mamuntie, mopa mumaninke kamwasumu, mopa mumanya mwasumu de. But this is the real truth. Miracles Abuaji no TV show, oh yeah, he is neck deep. Miracles Abuaji no, he is neck deep in galamsey. Where you chrome for a corrupt sin up a nipa biawa asasi so Miracles Abuaji. Onono de na abetoho. Me say Omusa Magderi attack the queen. Our sponsor another called Peking. Now, one funny aspect in this say, Sir Peking Honosusuno, it was an integral area in that opium war. No? In the Sir Peking University now, was sponsor Mark Jerry attack the queen, then they call Honum. No? During your time as a DC, or MC, our call by ya, or Nenam I am free any dunkwa or nothing. Within short time, cars any new man. A qualify China by Obenya because onuna all fronty or galamsey any or mining stuff ewo western region ho any some part of central region emma Miracles Abuaji. You'll be shocked. Eyo one say yansaka Magderi Dion. Enye nunku an photo na me de to on enye nunku an o. Mo ye rough an ye bet kire mu photo sa. More site. Yeah? Na Hala. You have no idea. Say nuntina time I want to be a man is kase onfan konkoye ankodo ebro no onim say a waste of time. Ntina sikana wan fan koye ebro no hwe. Ye de 10 million ne kokra excavators e de akọ anwen forest ye de call one forest akọ to go da wo si exim bank memi nkonko ye koko hwe say ye na ye de reclamation plan e ba enti na ya mamo na ma reclaim asase na ma dua kubi na ono galamsey ni no a wadi galamsey musrade ne adodode no okwa akodua kubi. Let's be rational. Let's be real as people. Let's be real. Let's stop living in some stupid fantasy. We shouldn't continue to bask. It is so surreal for us to be reveling in these kind of behaviors. Why should we revel in this kind of behavior? Bask in this stupidity. O galamsey ninja galamsey nkodua bro. Na odua bro tete no, e de be emfaso no nya yenti a ene ebro e ba be ye motivation di amano. The only thing and then say one, if Mosimo the military barracks or stop point at the kohwa, any first step, second step then say you should crush the enemy right on the head. Now let's move on to Your papa John Dramani Mahama. Me who say me to na man for a testing me message na nko to dey ba asem na wo kafa. Your papa John Mahama nsem a okoka no UN. O na mso na say Mahama agene samba me nya me na me ba be yi. Wakobo na adwen dey ache UN. Fantastic. Before say e be ba asem no so no yentie John Mahama. Me dey me be fa one aspect or kafa reparation and say yintua empata. Then I will link it to the Opium War, how certain group of people requested for reparation and the other party the other party repudiated, and then after the repudiation act, what happened?
Must be recognized as the greatest crime against humanity. As the African champion on reparations, Ghana intends to introduce a motion in this August body to that effect. More than 12.5 million Africans were forcibly taken against their will and transported to create wealth for the powerful Western nations. We must demand reparations for the enslavement of our people and the colonization of our land that resulted in the theft of our natural resources, as well as the looting of artifacts and other items of cultural heritage that have yet to be returned in total. We recognize the value of our land and the value of our lives, as did our colonizers, as well as the governments that happily paid reparations to former slave owners as compensation for the loss of their property in quotes. And that property for which they received compensation was paid referred to enslaved people who had been freed. Madam President, an increasingly insecure world is witnessing upward spending on defense budgets of bilateral partners and steep cuts in official development assistance. Since July 2024, it is estimated that there's been a 40% drop in humanitarian aid globally. In this era of global uncertainty, Africa must exercise sovereignty over its natural resources to raise the necessary funds to ensure the well-being of its citizens. The days of parceling out vast concession areas to foreign interests for exploitation must come to an end. We'll continue to welcome foreign investment, but we must negotiate better for a bigger share of the natural resources that belong to us. And we must insist on value addition to these resources. We're tired of the continued image of poverty-stricken, disease-ridden rural communities living at the periphery of huge foreign-controlled natural resource concession areas.
Minia, somewhat beautiful speech. Boy and Sim. Among for Niaje, Bami Meninje. Because I look at things with a different lens. And I listen to speeches with different ears. And I don't come to you to prove to you that I am the repository and the depository of all wisdom and knowledge. No, I don't claim to be. But there was a TSC. No matter how loquacious, how rambunctious you may sound in front of the lion, no matter how you make yourself so miserable in the face or in front of the lion, cannot stop the lion from devouring you. Into your pointing, Nase, you don't put up defensive mechanisms to make sure se data sebo sisino patakuno eba mumua. More build a strong fortress to repel any attack. From the predator na. Na se predator na eba wonchen. Na bibiem putting offer. Don't forget, say, if that predator allows you to run, it will starve to death. Fasho trim, se jata eba wo odwan abretire oba wo wansane eho na woni bibi e bebo ne hu ama ne hu se ono ba wo nchen a obewu a obeba na fa se otirim so se wo ye na duane na wanya wo anyewo a ono obewu fa se utirim intisa kind of sympathetic talks, speeches, me, I don't subscribe to that. It may sound so nice in our ears, but critically and technically, I brought from mobile Africa, you see, stories now, Troy and our history need be a yetra, I need a person you glorify your ancestors, I don't subscribe to that. Yeah, why do Americans say that they have American intelligence? It's not book and no can wasem. The British intelligence, it is no book no can wasem. The French intelligence, the German intelligence, the Israeli intelligence, any book wasem. The first and foremost primary responsibility of every and any organism is to make sure you protect yourself so that you don't extinct from this life. And when your friend intelligence, into America for a while, not almost say, is there any threats from outside their walls? Eba. In the Tebiano, the America for the Nome Guaquem to prevent any and every attack from the outside world. And in so doing, who say, if you allow yourself to share boundaries with your enemy can also destroy you. And so the American intelligence say, we will not allow any allies or our enemies to share boundaries with us. And they are rather expanding their tentacles or their territories or their horizon. And omu make sure say, omu di omu military bases, ebekwa kosisi amanfo kruso. And you know the covert mentality behind that? Oba no akache say obeboa wo ma wo fight terrorism. Obeboa no wa protect wo no wa kache say undimi protect wo. Oboa o operate ade bia James Monroe, James Monroe, former president, or the bear friend the Monroe Doctrine. I friend the spheres of influence. The spheres of influence. They want to enjoy that global hegemony, You have no idea. Into CNTR reparations and Farmer Africa. Na mibusao. Looking at let's assume Oma Bedi Bonnie. And look, I have a problem there. Oma Bedi Bonnie, Oma before Japadie. Intelligence bear na would protect you. Only intelligence be to protect yourself. Tell me, which single African nation and it produces on one true and on one the technology, the intelligence or the protecting the mind. O person protect o maya, o bi person ye so genia wa benya or so konya ni training wa America. O konya ni training wa US. Friends say UK. O konya ni training wa ha. One kasa wo training. Your inbuilt capacity to protect you yourself and your boundaries in a way. And you're saying say obi ebe form o Japade. I'm sorry, Mr. John Mahama. Obi anim say Yani ya do buy. But this statement, no, me, I don't agree. If you don't want your resources to be taken, it behoves you. It behoves you to make sure you get people who are mentally savvy, who are sagacious enough. Say omoko na omoko tna negotiation table one. They will get the best. Is it the same resources that Arabs in war? Arabs no many technology no. I did to oil no. America for ne de call. A year then Arabs netimia use oil nenkoa. Etimia revolutionize the entire Gulf area. Now we have more than 20 million times of the Arabs in war, but we still poor. It is because our very nature ya for. And young choir per se ye didi ye hoarders. Ye hoarders. Adiano on to me ni obibe to me di on farmer no. Adiano on to me ye obibe to me ye on farmer ye. How do we then develop? How do we then fight enemies? Na yetimi tina Ghana ho. Emma a foreigner ba. Emma man good treatment. Na yanka citizens. Ye die woman no omo just wander about. Also obi aba before ye japade. Entino. Is it because we were not there in that history na ye ba ye kan ntina ye hu ni say the behavior pattern na e course or Africa no it is something different from what happened some 500 years ago. The way you cannot or we cannot stand our feet on the ground to nip galamsey in the bud. How do we then throw and a professor and I say lawyer H. Prempekano or say yet or memoir throw problem crying timing solve. We are in your continent, Ghana, Nigeria, Mali, Togo. We are unable to even transport our citizens to and fro. Also be fighting galamsey. Also be preventing someone what na say develop intelligence or pe bibia few man now we say on farm manoa obey use all means. Now it gets back to the fact to say America hona uko dina ya o kasa no. O kasa say yentua reparation. Into reparation na ye tua no. Eye America for na etua. Ana Portugal for na etua. Ana Denmark for na etua. Ana say Sweden for na etua. The entire me bobo sanko for we mu nyina din say Portuguese for na di kan baaye. Dutch for ne toa so. Sweden for baaye. Danes, Denmark for so baaye. Ansa na echi English no eba. Inti wan mu na etua reparation no. Na omu utua de amahwan mo. Na ye busa say omu baaye no. Is it not we say slave trade? Excess a daddy koso. Na a daddy akoswa. Say a daddy akoswa. Na wa banama ton ade no wa anton ni mesisi na mekwa. Osini metua empata mfama. Na mibusa o. Omu bae na omu chichi slaves no. Mibusa o. Omu di Noah's Ark ene bae ya na. Omu di Noah's Ark ene besi ho. The question I will forever ask and say, a year day and 600 men. Etimi landi wo edina Elmina. Nasa 600 men no etimi conquer a nipa over thousands na ewo Elmina ho. Na che so me ya Jimmy for and a nipa bia ne me Jimmy da ama obi abumi. Me tena ho na ye me ya. But I mean to me nko say nipa ne fa me sika mame because me ne call agreement. And the mama aduan konyo ma bisu yi. and a nipani beating me, will beating me. What do I do next? I have to sit down and tell myself, say, I will not put myself in that compromising situation again. Obusa say, did you listen to the president fully? Maybe una also kuti. Some mumpe no kre. Mumpe embellishment. Enti obetimi akọ no akọ no akọ na wo fi se ene de ekoso wo fi se ene reparation wo fi se nasem ene yeka se wo pese wo hu hawa enipa tua reparation edema ne nkofo a na wo kan na se wo se wonya go and read the Opium War, the first Opium War and the second Opium War, and then you find out how Hong Kong, every year United Kingdom, and as a British Empire there until 1997. You get to understand it. And then coming to the topic, a friend saying America flag no, and I say America abua ben no my eyo machine so there. You see, you guys you don't pay credence to certain key things, be symbols, totems, and tokens. You have no clue. You have no clue. You have no clue. Say, America, dientina, eagle, no bab, or say, eagle, no? What is the behavior of an eagle? Montras na monyin kwetri. America operate with the eagle's mentality. Owuriem. Owuriem pa. But no a spot it near open wasasi so or banswa on fum. Oba on fum on messy target no. Or before the boom no the call. Or before now ye dede o manem fa or tamwa na office umu du be hanoa na odo ko be poso ni we jai na uti akọ bobby pon so na uti bobby pon so a aya waka chem say apontino you come back to life. Go and see how eagles treat the mountain goats. Go and see how eagles treat a moi omo pese omo pick omo pese omo che say omo ye stubborn or pick wa target to baby or de oko ono ni hammer or do to kosra ni we jai mu oba no abehwe ho o hwe won so a you are not out of its sight no allocate no asa pick ni we do if obi na abo adane or di operate ni they take things by force. Adentia America obi say omo resources, omo ni resources. What America ewo tanks. Ye ka say tanks out here. That is why every day Bruni build a strong armory. Unintia onim se edebi beba we di obi bone. Enipa nde ka cheze ometua ne ka. Se nipa nka so metua nka na oka so ontia enipa betumi aba se oba bebo no but oba no o de dia na eba when Lin Zexu according to the emperor's request China can say unstoppable the opium trade no because na China China ya mo kan say super powers no China once upon a time rule the trade na ekoso wiase UK for instance sa omusika nyina koto the porcelain omokoto tea and other enyoma na omoye no China ho na omokoto a Chinese no naturally no omo je wade o omo mfa ma into omo je silver no omo je silver sa the free British no silver gold that silver dollar that time no they were trading in silver. Omo diana omanya silver be bring to China benye sika. Ena British ne tena no mubusa mo say. Ye the opium we kwa I say sika for what China na de enom ni ade. Enom hu say no. Sa opium we no. Ye betime introduce no into the Chinese populace no. Almost started say omo no mo a. Ebeye te say the ekoso ne wo Ghana. Red narcotics and no say youth no Ghana no. Intimrante ne mabawa no empa adwuma ye bio. E no mu introduce ye. Afi na Chinese economy ni take off from in the 18th century and then the early 19th century. Na Chinese economy no take off from na take off from. Afi the number of shares of opium no mo de call China no ebe increase ye. Dom hu ya say laziness has set in. Emrante ne mabawa omo ko clubs anaso omo ko bar no ma konum opium no na abu omo nkoye adwuma. Ena ohine no the Queen dynasty no emperor at the time no eye say no, what is going on? Or the panyin bi ba say onko stop opium no the way omo ma manfo si abuse no onye dey onko stop no omo fa ban ento so a omo kwa na British merchants no omni American merchants ne European the West no ma carbon no ma sort to paying phone out na fight na bed until one man buy a friend no Lin Zexu British na some mo kind say o akwa we ente bia ono so be compromise afidie akwa ne catch up say within 3 days o ye foreigner na wo opium e wo hono a Nas one farm ma on betro. Na fi akweni na market square, market center na on ma announcement. I want him Kofu can say, hey, this guy is different from Kofu na de bia mo ba no ma compromise no. We after mo ti ya na say sa akwe yampa or confiscate and foreigners in British ne surrender omo nyoma na omo de ma omo na adwene say anka bi ode bekwa kogu warehouse bi na nka oma south echi ato omo te ya na say Lin Zexu e de adna be good public e twajatum and a news ne travel in a bar UK na amanfo ye say hey akwa no is serious and na ahana reparation be mo no that time British monarch no esene ayima China for say omuntia reparation enfama business owners no merchants no eno so muni sika bia ede etua de ma omu na tie de omehu an say Europeans no especially British na are resolve say omu de omu warships e de koye na American merchant bi ana say Chinese businessman bi ana on America for need catch a Lin Zexu to say what you are calling for is beyond you because enkofu we no they don't never activities no it is not like here they are t ship edi nua aye no that time na Europeans no omu de nade na aye ship no na omu cannons no omu use no omu advancing to the extent say gunpowder and the good metallic balls no and eba asemo akwa ne catch say these demons from the west fight with what? Fire. The tietia ne tintin nyina nya ha na me be ka story natural ko find out. Now ko read ba o me kan me say I didn't listen to John Mahama fully. John Mahama is a historian and sometimes great leaders if they want to carry you guys along they know certain things to tell you. Na mo asumwa ye mode. Superficially wasumbe ye ode but they know say there are certain hard crack guys ewo mu a omo be decode nsem. I say these demons fight with fire, iron and fire. Heh? And kofone koshi chrono. Afe woman na yese woman opiums no. Ese China koni wiye no. And omoni almost signed treaty. Afe treaty ni mu nsemu nyina no. Eye unfavorable to the Chinese people, but they had no idea, no option, no other option to kowtow, because all military prowess at the time, no, they least they underestimated the powers of the West at the time, their technology in terms of naval and military prowess, no. So they had to kowtow to the Treaty of Nanking. And no, and the man almost CD, Shanghai, Hong Kong, Peking, sa Peking honum no, and ho ena miracle sabwaje, or sponsor obi ko ye man or ye ne PhD, wako Ghana omu ye galamsey no, or illegal mining allegedly no. And he said, oh no, all requests say China for ntua reparation and farmer China car say omuntua no on the okoye or China ho. But wo me busa say all request reparation no all request everyone ho. UK ka say ontua de na obeye. And so would you continue to talk about it without reaping any kind of benefits? You see, let's try to understand things. Let's take time. You may say, oh my no papa do ko tena school. That's what me can try and send me over. For the yaki can ono etunchen. Not trust now one kasako finance 70 bi. You come to terms with that with us. Share the advice I will give to John Dramani Mahama and say, God in his own infinite wisdom has given you Ghana one more time. And so, if indeed you do not want Western powers to take our resources, the power doesn't lie in the hands of the Western powers. No. The power is in your hands. But it's more or less like Africans, no. Ye wo tumi kura no a. Okay? Ye wo tumi kura na ya san esietri. Na ye san dey pa chow as if say again ye wo tumi no. This is the big problem. The big problem, no. Timinia asem na ya na omo be dina TV ni so no ekeka ne saa no enya good yo. If indeed Mr. President ye person succeed and no ma bi o ha once I entimi am build a capacity and the Kwame Nkrumah na opese oboa ye ma ye a 2 year fo say Africa can try and build a strong military. And until 1952, Ghana SARS say ye building atomic and nuclear reactor stations. That's how they course one. And can advance technologically. There are certain things. Na Israel him say okoka Iran or be fan on a silver platter. Also or two na Israel to na Iran to. Likewise, Argentina and North Korea who no bianco try no. They have built their intelligence. Njo pese nipa bua where di kan bu ho. Se wo bu ho a omo ma ka ombebu. Se ye no wa build it ena ni obefa oye akwa ne hu se ene da bi ontimi mfa onya akwa bi wo a okasa obeti na menua efi se nkofo ya yese wo ya akromfo gya ye hokoye ni oye kromfo a obefa ye na nakọ nko asum no or the railway line ekoto anyamfore ema na utimi fro railways utimi fro train efi Kumase e de kotakrade de waba na okope reparation no. I'm not saying typically John Mahama. Ne waba na okope reparation no. Ontumi build a railway line. Then it is better sad your build a railway line and the far resources no crampo no. No oyini papa. Esin wo a wo se open reparations no. So Mr. President, the little message I make na me di program na berry and say try and put Ghana on that pedestal na opeso odi etoso no. Odi etoso na ya bompa ya say Ghana for na adwen beba na abatu duru a yankofo obi de se ba omia na yakufu ado ne nkofo no bi sama. Na oyibenya nipa papa obeba build a capacity. Now the yema ho say in 50 years to 100 years time to come, bia yes we betimi build a capacity. Na say you use resource kakra na kana build ye ho na ye jai kronobo. Ye jai say a time sika free ye economy dia koto dan wa manfo kro mu a. Ye be build a capacity a, we will not even be talking about reparations. Because that was the order of the day. Na amount for expand our territories. In that sense, you be a right, and you fancy it him say during that time, no, now it was the business of the day. If we don't understand it that way, and we will forever sit down to look for mercy from people. And in that doing, no, a bekoswa cripple ya, yentin making any significant strides and progress. You do be see her. E da foforo be friend say ne no. Ye be sia. De Kwame Nkrumah e ka kire mu no. Eni emu ntie.
Command. There is little wisdom in our present separate effort to build up and maintain defense forces, which in any case would be ineffective in a major world conflict. If we examine this problem realistically, we would ask, which single African state could protect itself against an imperialist aggressor? And how much more difficult this will be when some states are allowing the imperialists to maintain bases on their territories. I have already referred to the military forces which South Africa is raising and the danger it poses for the new African states and the struggle of those still in chains. Only our unity can provide us with anything like adequate protection. If we do not unite and combine our military forces, South Africa, along with her allies, or any other colonialist imperialist power, can pick us off one by one. Not only that, some of us, out of a sense of insecurity, may be drawn into making defense pacts with imperialists, which will endanger the security of us all. It follows that if we set up in Africa a common economic planning organization and a joint military command, we shall have to work out and adopt a common foreign policy to give political direction to our continental development and our continental defense. Fellow freedom fighters, you may perhaps wonder why I have dwelt at some length with these problems of the unity of independent African states and what relevance they have to our immediate problems of how to overcome the obstacles standing in the way of your own struggle and independence as freedom fighters. I think I have answered any such questions by pointing out that the dangers to the whole subject of your fight for freedom in the fragmentary state of Africa at this present time. Moreover, the moment you have achieved your independence, you will be faced with the practical problems of protecting that independence and securing your viability in order to lay the foundations on which you build up economic and social development. You must know where you are going, what avenues of support await you, which will contribute to your real consolidation and protection and meet the problems that will confront you. Those problems can best be met within a unified Africa, and it should be possible in the higher reaches of our endeavor to devise a constitutional structure which will secure the objectives I have outlined, and yet preserve the sovereignty of each of the countries joining the Union. Countries within the Union will naturally maintain their own constitutions, continue to use their own national emblems and national anthems and other symbols and paraphernalia of sovereignty. Regional associations and territorial groupings can only be other forms of balkanization unless they are conceived within the framework of a continental union. There are existing models which we can modify or adapt to our pattern. The United States of America, the Soviet Union, India and China have proved the efficacy of unions embracing large stretches of land and population. When the first 13 states of America tried to promote the idea of a United States, this was ridiculed as an empty dream and vigorously resisted by many. Today,